Welcome to episode 3 of my podcast. I'm actually seriously thinking about changing the name to the future of video. Why am I saying that? Well, because I just interviewed Robert Scoble, one of the world's leading leaders when it comes to technology, one of the leading influencers, I should say, when it comes to technology. Robert's been at the forefront of technology, oftentimes at the front end of the wave, way before anyone else would be there. And I wanted to get him on a call to ask him what his thoughts are on video and the future of video. And it's really interesting how the call came together. Robert's a very busy man. He's very influential. And I didn't think he'd get on a call. And I was really surprised when I asked him on X. He just immediately said yes. And it took a couple of days to schedule the call, and we jumped on it. We did it live on X, and it was just incredible. It was one of my most favorite calls ever. And I had so much fun talking to Robert. I was like super nervous before the call, and I had all these questions prepared, and I wasn't sure where it would go. And I did a ton of preparation using Grok, and one of the things Grok said, make sure you bring it back onto the topic and things, because Robert will want to veer off on different topics and things. And it wasn't like that at all. It was actually really on point and very, very relevant for the information that I was looking for, which was to talk about the future of video as it relates to us as video creators, video content creators, and specifically applying it to creating video content for growing your brand and for growing your influence online. And the stuff we covered was, it was just from start to finish, was just mind-blowing. You'll see the call starts with Robert wearing, well, actually, I won't spoil it for you. It's something interesting that happens at the beginning of the call. And it sort of took me a bit by surprise, but it just set the scene for the whole thing. And it was just so much fun. Anyway, definitely watch the whole thing. It gets more interesting the longer you watch, and somewhere towards 3/4 the end, we cover some pretty interesting stuff that I didn't think we would cover, but we ended up covering it, and some very, very interesting insights from Robert. So I think if you're in the video space and you're using video at all to grow your influence and to grow your reach for your brand, whether it's your personal brand or your company brand, or whatever brand you're building, this is essential watching. So let me know in the comments if you think a name like the future of video might be a good name for this podcast. I'm still sort of toying around with names as I'm playing around with this new format. Let me know. But without further ado, I'll introduce you into the interview, which was run live and was streamed on X. But here's the recording of it. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know your comments once you finish watching it. Talk to you soon. Hey everybody, I'm here with Robert Scoble, somebody I've been following for a long time. It feels like a lifetime, but it's probably only been about 2 decades, which is still quite a bit. I remember seeing Robert the first time on Twitter, when it was still called Twitter. And I believe, Robert can confirm this or not a bit later, he was the #1 most followed person on Twitter for the first 2 years. So he's lost that position now. I think Elon's got it still.
Others have passed me by.
And but what actually happened was I've been doing a lot of video, as you know, but I've been really interested in what X has been doing with video. They've upped the game a lot. They've been talking about upping the game a lot with video. And on Friday, I saw something really interesting. The interface on X, at least on desktop, changed, and they changed how they show portrait videos in particular. So I had a little video or a little post about that, and Robert replied to that, and we've been chatting, loosely throughout the last few months. And I said, "Hey, Robert, why don't we just talk about that and talk about the future of video?" He said, "Yeah, let's do it." And he couldn't do it at the time, but we've scheduled for today. So, Robert, thanks for coming on the call, such short notice.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you being here and also being here with the Apple Vision Pros. It's easy.
Video is changing. There's a lot of cameras on my face.
Yeah, I mean, this already gives us the futuristic look that I wanted to have for this interview. So, thank you for putting those on. I believe you got these ones.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about them, because you had a video about it just earlier today as well on your X feed. What are these ones?
These are the even realities. There's a whole series of wearable computers coming out. Three categories of them: lightweight, middleweight, and heavyweight. The Vision Pro I was just wearing is the heavyweight, right, and gives you a much more immersive view around you. Gives you a wraparound screen if you're watching video or whatever. These have just a little tiny green and black display right about here. If I raise my head, I can see it. And so, they're regular glasses, pretty close to regular glasses. I mean, here's my old glasses, right, that don't have digital displays next to these even realities that have displays. And
that's amazing.
It's showing you that their computers are getting smaller, and they're able to put them into things that look like glasses now. And you're going to see over the next 18 months, I think, quite a few different ones. Google and Meta both are readying products to bring out to the market later this year along these lines. And that will do, I think, more. In fact, I know they have full color screens instead of just a green and black screen. So the world is coming, and you put some AI on your phone, and now you can talk to the AI, and it can show you things on the screen in front of you, like translate, a conversation you're having with somebody who doesn't speak your language. You can actually see it right there being translated in real time. It's pretty cool.
I love it. I'm always so jealous of you guys in America, 'cause I'm here in Australia, and we always are so late with getting the technology. Like when you guys got the Apple Vision Pro, we were just sitting here going, when are we going to get it? And I think it took months. We eventually got it, but it was cool seeing that world through your eyes. And so that's just sort of a wave of thanks.
Hey, come to San Francisco. We got autonomous cars everywhere now. It's like just a year or two. It's like, oh my, this is like a different world here now. Right.
We've got to wait another, 5 to 10 years before we'll see those in Australia, probably.
I don't know. You got some Teslas in your neighborhood. You're going to have it sooner than you might think. Maybe
I hope so.
a couple of years, maybe.
I hope so. So, Robert, you've been I was just saying before, to me, it feels like you've been like at the bleeding edge of technology and also video. I think maybe not necessarily in the creating stuff, but certainly in terms of using and being one of the first sort of users of video technologies that are coming out. Like, for example, you did the Twitter thing. You were there first. I mean, you had I think a video TV show with.
Go back to 2004 and 5.
Right.
I worked at Microsoft, and I carried around a $250 Sony camcorder that used tapes back in the old days. And I did 600 interviews there on my little video camera, and changed how people looked at Microsoft, right? Economist magazine wrote a whole page on me back then about how I humanized Microsoft this way. And so I've been using video as a communication method for a long time. Going back to the 80s, I learned how to do video in a church here in Silicon Valley. I ran camera number 2 in the middle of the auditorium of, 1,000, 1,500 people every Sunday. And back then, my TV camera was $130,000 and had tubes. So I've been around. Had to heat it up and use an oscilloscope to align the tubes. Well, you don't have to do that on your iPhone anymore.
It's crazy how it's changed over the years. And like, I remember when I was getting into the video streaming stuff, I at least was on Mac, so that was a good start. But this was I don't know, just when YouTube was starting to stream live stuff, and the technology was just so tough for us here in Australia because our internet was not good enough. I went through 3, I think they were called Apple Pros. They looked like you remember those ones that had this sort of shape? I think they were called Apple
mine
Pros.
are outside.
But I killed 3 of them. It was like $5,000 each for those. And then I had a 5K screen and killed that as well with trying to live stream. And the technology just wasn't there. And now I mean, gosh, so easy. I do have a nice-ish camera here, but I mean, if I wanted to,
Yeah.
I could have done this whole call just on my iPhone, So it's
Yeah,
really,
I have a like a mirror kind of thing, a teleprompter in
yeah.
front of me with a
Oh, nice.
DSLR behind it, so I can look at you
That's cool.
and be staring at a pretty nice camera, which gives me pretty good quality. I have a couple cameras here, and we were using the other one. It's just not nearly as nice as this
No,
DSLR.
no, it's not. I've got a DSLR here as well. I'm not sure if I've upgraded or downgraded, but I got the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II, and the reason I changed over to that one is because it allows me to live stream just with the USB-C cable. I don't need a capture card anymore, and it does a pretty good job. It does 4K straight into my computer, and that's what you're watching right now. So I'm pretty happy
Yeah.
with it. I don't have it's just a kit lens on it as well at the moment, so I'm pretty happy with the results so far.
Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah, it's come a long way.
I've also been around, I was at GoPro the night that they released the Hero 2 video, and I think that's on point here.
Mm,
That video made them a public company and made Nick Woodman a billionaire, right?
mm.
One video. And companies who use video well can get funded or find customers or change the story about their company, and maybe even go public, right?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. So I
you
wanted to
know,
actually,
Video is powerful. Usually it's not that way, but once in a while a video like that comes along and changes a company and changes people's lives.
I think you've definitely seen it time and again where companies use well-crafted videos, but not necessarily even well-crafted videos. I think there's good examples of, like, say, someone like Gary Vee. His videos are oftentimes relatively awful in terms of production quality, but his content is
Yeah.
really amazing, and he's just really at the forefront. He's really pushing it, and been able to build a media empire from that. So I think there's a whole range of a spectrum of production quality, for example, to be able to get results. But the point is, video is a powerful medium. I remember when it came around. To me, it was like we had the internet, which was like a big thing, obviously, and then social media, which was a big thing. We called it Web 2.0 back then, and it became social media. And then for me, the next big thing was YouTube, and online video. It's almost like okay, not quite as probably not. Oh, I don't know. Maybe comparing it to the AI wave right now, for me, if I look back, like the video thing was a big wave. It took a while to build up, though. Whereas if you compare it to the AI wave now, the adoption is so much faster. But
Yeah.
maybe in terms of impact, it has like an equivalent feel to it. It's like it's just as significant as AI. So I think video is like, and now video with AI
Yeah.
is incredible. So
And now
yeah.
I just interviewed an entrepreneur earlier today. He's building an AI editing tool that does editing automatically.
Is
So
that the guy from Clover?
I'm interviewing him tomorrow. So
Oh,
I'm trying to get, I'm trying to, yeah, I'm trying to get to
oh,
see all
awesome.
the video tools because I'm interested in this field, and the world is changing quickly because
Mm.
of multimodal models that can look into a video and really understand everything in the video in real time, right? And that kind of technology is coming out of the autonomous car world. That autonomous car, when it rolls down the street, has to see a stop sign and know it's a stop sign, right?
Mm.
Um, and understand what the rules are there. And we're about to get a lot of really interesting new tools. And then we haven't even started talking about using AI to create the video, right?
Okay, so
Uh,
that
I mean,
so
we
that let
can
me just stop you there, because
we got an
that's
hour,
really
right?
perfect. Yeah. So this is exactly what I actually wanted to ask you. This literally, I've got on my notes here. The first thing is to talk about AI generated video content and how where's the puck going with that, and how that's going to impact us. But then also the video editing side of it, because you know. Ever since I've done video and video marketing and training people on video marketing, the number one pain point that's always come back is the video editing. It's always the number
Yeah,
one pain point. So let's touch on that one first, since that's quite fresh in your mind with the interview you had this morning and tomorrow with the founder of Clover. And I just
yeah.
signed up for Clover on the weekend, but it didn't work on my mobile, so I haven't tried it properly on my desktop yet. But tell me, what are your thoughts on the whole editing scene when it comes to AI and video? Where's that all going? Because it's like, is it gonna be like the knowledge worker situation where those people are going to lose their jobs, uh, or is it going to be a matter of the great video editors? They're going to be able to use AI to create even greater things. What are your thoughts on,
I
are we still
think
going to
this
need
the
humans? What's the deal?
I think the value for humans is still in telling a good story.
Mm,
And yeah, you're going to be using AI like, hey, Grok, I want to tell a good story. Can you help me out? And it does, right? And if the better you are at telling an AI like a Grok or a Gemini or a Claude or a Perplexity or a Chat GPT what you want, the better that original script might be, right? Or that original storyline might be. And then soon, I believe we're about to get a new kind of camera, and this Apple Vision Pro is close, but it doesn't quite get to where I'm thinking it's going to go once they put a multimodal models in there and they hook it up to um, AI tools like ChatGPT or Grok. Because let's say I did that, it's Chat GPT. Hey, I want to build a 3-minute video for Instagram Shorts, and I want the story to be XYZ, and I want to make these points or have this kind of aesthetic to it, this kind of a storyline to it. It can write me a script. Then the camera could tell me when I'm shooting that, when I'm out, let's say I'm doing a video about a car show or something like that. It'll be helping me like, oh, you need a wide shot of the car show,
mm,
right? And then you go out with your camera, and shoot the wide shot. And it can even tell you, okay, we got the wide shot. That looks good. When you get back home, maybe you're missing a shot. Maybe you didn't get one. Well,
mm,
AI can come in and fill in, right? And then take
mm.
the shots you've already done in the car show and make another one of the car show. And it'll be pretty hard to tell. And you might even do that for aesthetic reasons. Like you might want to stylize the video and make it look like a cartoon for uh, 3 seconds, right? There's so many new creative things that we as video communicators are going to be able to do soon. But in 18 months, I think we're not going to recognize this world.
Do you think we'll get to a point where you might be able to have your video AI buddy, whatever you want to call it, whatever that technology is going to be so well trained on you and your mannerisms and things like that,
Yeah.
and maybe other people as well in your world, that you could just say to it, "Hey, I need a short form video on this topic with me in it. Throw in some cool B-roll, and just make it all happen." So that's the one aspect. The other
I've
aspect
seen
is,
videos that I can't tell
mm,
I'm looking at a human. I mean,
yeah, me
are
too.
you
Yeah,
an
I
AI?
can still you
Are
can
you
still
an
tell
AI? Prove you're a human. Soon we're gonna
I'm
have
human.
to. We're not even gonna know whether I'm talking to an AI or a human because, like,
Mm,
Descript just last week turned on avatars, and you can just type. I already read to Descript, so it knows my voice. I give it a picture of my face, and the more pictures I give of it, the better it can get to me. And now I can just type to it and it can make me a video of me talking to you just like this.
yeah, it's incredible. So all right, so if we progress that thought even further, where okay, at the moment it needs some input from us to sort of get trained on.
Yeah.
That's maybe the reality for the next 3 years or something. What about
Yeah.
beyond that? 5 years, 10 years
Oh,
from now? Are we like? Will we be at a point where we'd have essentially AI influencers that are considered just as authoritative or as real as us now? And that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like, would we still need human beings for that, or would we just
Yeah.
have these agents running the show for us? And we go, okay, I've got a new startup, and I need like a really good face for the business, and make this person attractive, make them well spoken, or him or her, and on point for my brand and for the topic. Go,
Yeah.
and then just all figure it out.
Yeah. Well, 2 years from now or 5 years from now, there'll still be a lot of 2D video in the world, with something on like the Vision Pro. And keep in mind, in 5 years, the Vision Pro is going to be a pair of glasses, right?
Okay.
So you're going to have a pair of glasses on that gives you a wraparound capability, but even worse or better, it gives you a holodeck. Every voxel, every bit of the air can be a volumetric pixel and can be changed by the AI, right? If I had a Vision Pro on, I could see you, and then I could turn the dial and I'm in Yosemite National Park and walking around. It's
So,
crazy what's about to come. So now in that context, if your viewer is wearing a pair of these glasses and wants to click on YouTube 3D, all of a sudden they're in a room with the actors or with
mm,
things that look like actors, right? Because we're also getting virtual beings over the next couple of years. I've already interviewed a founder of a company that's building them, and they look like humans. They talk like humans. They
hmm.
walk like humans. They sit on the chair next to you, right? So now you can build a whole little entertainment product with a bunch of virtual beings around you, and maybe you throw a human in there just to keep it, a little bit of humanness.
Spot the
Boom, you have a
human.
new kind of entertainment product, right? And maybe the camera is just a virtual camera that the AI might even be doing the camera work for this kind of entertainment product, right?
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's about to get really crazy over the next couple of years.
Okay, so this is really interesting because I was just listening to your interview that you published earlier on your X profile this morning, and forgive me, I forget the name of the person that you interviewed. I think it was
It was the founder of Triple Whale.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one, and
Yeah.
he mentioned at the start of the interview, you don't want to be too early, and you also don't want to be too late
Yeah.
with when it comes to business, right, or any trend spotting. And I've often had that issue where like I said, I'm not as quite as ahead as you are, but I've often been still way too too much in front of the wave to be able to catch the
Yeah.
wave, and I'd often jump off onto another wave before the big wave comes. What's
Yeah.
your what you've seen so many waves come and go now, and you've been able to ride a few as well. But what's your like when it comes to the video game and using video to to build a presence online for your brand? What would be your take on how to be not too early and not too late for these sort of things? Because my feeling is that um, the world is changing so fast, and it's like you also
Yeah.
don't want to miss out. So you don't want to be
No.
too early, you don't want to be too late, but you also don't want to miss out. So how do you manage this world of change so much when it comes to video?
I wouldn't look at Robert Scoble. I'd look at Trisha Code. She
Okay.
has created a series of videos with AI of a character that's based on her, but it's a very pink character if you go to her X account and watch some of her videos.
Well, let's
She's
bring it up.
creating a character. She's creating uh, resonance with a new audience. The
What's her
audience
name?
is growing. Trisha Code,
Code.
CODE,
Okay.
right?
I'll bring it
And
up
you
on the
might,
screen while you talk.
yeah, Trisha Code or x.com/Trisha Code. And she's creating a character that has relevance to a new audience and is having fun with it, right? And just building music and building skits with her and with this character, and having the character meet aliens and do all sorts of fun things. But over time, she's going to create something that I think would be attractive to corporations to hire to introduce a new product or change the story. That's not
That's
her.
not
It's Trisha Code,
CODE.
Trish. Let me
Oh,
just make sure I'm telling you the right.
SHRISH.
If you find something that looks a lot pink, you found her.
I'm searching here.
Yeah,
I'll
it's Trisha, Trisha
ARE.
Code.
Got it. Sorry, trying to do stuff while you're live is always a bit. Oh, here we go. Oh, I've
Yeah.
seen her, of course. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
She
so tell us about this. So this is a fully AI. channel? Is
Well,
what you're saying? All this
she
content is
said
full.
it's mostly AI. It's about
Okay.
95% AI. She does play bass guitar riffs and brings those into Ableton Live to add some humanness. This is a
Mm,
secret with AI, right? You can use AI to create something like this, but you're going to be competing with a lot of people who are going to do this, right? So
mm,
the way you have to stand out is to add some human sauce to it to make it stand out. And hers stands out of the. I have a list on X of, I don't know, 3,500 AI artists who are creating various things with AI programs like Kling and Luma and Midjourney and a whole bunch of Runway and others. And hers stands out because it's consistent. It has a consistent character to it that has consistency across videos, and it's iconic. It's something when you see that in a
mm.
microsecond, you know it's Trisha's video, right? You don't even need to
Amazing.
see her name because she has a very consistent pink look. That's why I knew if it's not pink, it ain't Trisha.
Yeah. Huh. All right.
And
So
we've been talking quite a bit because I'm very fascinated by what she's doing. I think she's setting up the future of virtual beings because she could turn that property she's building, this character, into a virtual being that's hanging out with people, right?
wow.
And is part of a new entertainment product in a digital holodeck that's coming with these glasses world that's coming. So she's a little early for that. She's doing well with 2D, but it's hard to build an audience from scratch, right? And you're watching her do it. I think she has 4,000 followers right now.
Yeah.
But watch people like Trisha and the other AI artists who are creating properties like this and characters and entertainment products and storylines. That's going to be what leads you into a brand in 2 to 5 years that corporations are going to want to be a part of. And we call them AI influencers or whatever. This one stands out, right?
Mm. Well, that's a really nice segue into the other thing that I wanted to talk about, which is the AI generated video content, and this sort of like it straddles that world a little bit. It's because it's a little bit of her and a little bit of like a little bit of real person, but also AI combined into it. And sometimes you can't tell the difference by the looks of it. I haven't fully looked at the channel, but
Yeah.
um, so in terms of for companies looking at using AI and video together. Um, Okay, let me just give you a sort of an anecdote here. I was talking to
Yeah.
another business leader, and she's quite a prominent leader in her space and very successful. And she told me about some software that she's using that's fully AI generated. It can use your voice to sort of mimic your voice, but then all the imagery and the text on the screen is fully done with AI. And I've seen these videos; they've been around for a while now, and I was, as I'm watching these videos, I'm always thinking, is this obviously AI, and therefore there's a bit of a trust issue for me. I'm not, it's like, okay, it's cool, but I'd rather swipe and see a real human being.
Yeah.
But what surprised me was that she said she's been using that to generate business for her company, and so she's got sort of high ticket sort of sales, 5-10K a pop kind of transactions, or higher tickets, not a $97 product type of thing, So that came across really interesting to me, that A, she was using it and she was happy using it, and B, it was actually working for her, which came as
Yeah.
a bit of a surprise to me. But what's your take on that? Because it seems like, for me, it seems like we're still at that cusp where I think there seems to be still a bit of backlash from people towards AI. So when they see AI generated content, they go, it's AI. So there's a trust level that is not as high. So therefore,
And that's
I'll
why
watch it
Trish is
maybe.
early. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why
right.
Trish is early, right?
Mm,
She's building something in an AI world that people are not yet ready for.
mm,
And I study consumer behavior. That's what I really do. I've been to all over the world studying people, how they change with new technology and new ideas, right? And people always resist at the beginning. A
mm,
million people protested when Facebook turned on the news feed. Well, now everything is news feeds,
hmm,
right?
Yeah.
And so we all changed. Gary Vaynerchuk and I give keynote speeches to thousands of people who told us they'd never do social media. Well, they're all on social media now, so they all changed. They all thought they knew how the world was going to work, and then they changed. And the world will change because of things like Trisha that come along that entertain you in a new way. And you realize, oh, that's fun to watch or participate in or have as a virtual being in your house, and it changes who you are as and your belief system, right? um there will be a backlash for a while, yeah. And there will be a human only created media. I only use humans instead of my videos. I only use humans to do my camera work. I only do humans to in front of the camera, right? And there will be that. But you're going to start seeing people change. And when you get glasses, that's when you're going to start changing, because Trisha in glasses is a lot more interesting than most of the YouTube videos I watch.
Okay. What do you think this is going to do to trust? Like in terms of, yeah, we've already seen the videos coming through with, this is funny one with Donald Trump and Ukraine Prime Minister, what is his name?
It has deep implications, because
Yeah,
soon you're going to be watching a video show like this, and you're not going to know whether we're human or AI talking to each other. I mean, I can have Grok already do an interview with Elon Musk, and the content is right on point with both of us. It knows us so deeply that it can create a fake interview show. You're seeing this with Notebook LM from Google, right? You feed it a PDF or a website, and all of a sudden it creates you a podcast out of that. So it's crazy.
But okay, so it's crazy, and it's getting crazy good as well. But
but it does lead to trust, because we don't know what's real anymore. It is going to be a problem.
So okay, so I think. So I also think it's going to be a problem, but I'm not sure if it's going to be like one of those things that you say where people kind of get used to it. They'll go, no, I'm not going to use social media, but then eventually they do. Or they go, I'm not going to trust AI, but then they do eventually. And they go, whatever I'm getting fed here, it's all good. It's from AI. So, because what I don't know behind the scenes with AI, what's happening is like, and this is why I'm liking what Elon's doing with this, essentially the search for truth with Grok. Whereas with the other platforms, I'm not really seeing that, because I'm thinking, how do you establish truth here? Because essentially that's where the trust will come from, right? If something is true, there's you can trust it, you can believe it.
Well, you'll build trust, because let's say you're going across, and sorry about the doorbell, you'll be going across the Golden Gate Bridge and you'll see a car on fire, and then Grok will tell you there's a car on fire, right? And you'll realize that the AI thing that's on your phone or on your glasses that's reading the news to you or showing you the news is actually attached to the real world, and is actually reflecting the real world, right? If you go to a city council meeting, you're sitting in the real city council meeting, and then Grok tells you what actually happened in or something like Grok, a Facebook or a Google or whatever, tells you what happened in the meeting. You'll realize, okay, this is truthful because I was sitting in the meeting, and the report on the phone is truthful. So you'll start to trust it based on your own experience over time, right? Right now, we're in a new world where we don't have that trust because we don't have enough experience with it, right? And so this is why humans over time will change, because as you have more and more and more experience with it, you'll realize, oh, it's actually pretty good at reporting to me what I need to know right now to live as a human being, right?
You see, I think that's been the missing piece for me. So thank you for that, pointing that out, that the trust thing will get taken care of, because we will start realizing, hey, it is actually trustworthy by looking at what's happening with the AI, but also comparing it to reality and going, okay, well, it is trustworthy.
Yeah. And there will be missteps, right? Because it will get it wrong, and then there'll be a lack of trust for a while, right? It'll hallucinate a fact, and if you know the real fact and you see on your phone, or on your glasses, an incorrect fact, that makes you lose trust in the system because you realize that's not correct, right? Doesn't match reality. This is why Elon really is thinking about how do you make sure that you align the AI to the real world so that you gain trust, more and more trust over time. And it'll be a messy few years,
Yeah. So
but
where do you
10 years from now, we are going to be in a different world, right? Because the AI is getting less and less hallucinations over time. And they're working. There's a lot of teams here in Silicon Valley working to try to figure out how not to make hallucinations happen by building new systems and new AIs and give it much more data. Right now, it doesn't have enough data. A lot of times where it hallucinates is a place where it doesn't have enough data to give you the correct answer, right? And it makes one up.
So where do you think we are on that cycle now in terms of, if you look at all the previous waves, normally sort of like you say, it's people get excited a little bit, then they go through that, what is it called, the valley of death or whatever, and then it
Yeah.
slowly picks up again. And then it finally gets to mainstream and, goes crazy. Where are we on the curve for
Early
that? Are we
days.
still at the early adopter innovator stage, or are we sort of
Yes.
already in that valley of death, or is the valley of death part still coming up for the AI wave when it comes to this trust thing? Is there
No,
going to be like a big trust sort of issue still coming up where people go, no, we got to throw this out and burn the books, so
I
to
think
speak?
we're in the early days still of this kind of whole theme. I mean, Formula One was on TV today, right? And I've been to a real Formula One race. Watching it on TV is better than going to the real race in a lot of ways. The parties are better at the real race, but actually watching the sport is better on TV. In fact, when I was at the real race, we watched most of the race on TV because we could see the whole track on the TV and see our favorite drivers on TV, right? But we could look down at the real track and see our favorite driver go by. Woo, there he was, right? Soon you're going to be having augmented experiences in real life, particularly with sports, right? Going to a football game or going to a Formula One race, you're going to be wearing something like an Apple Vision Pro. Now that seems strange today because it's so big and ugly and expensive. But when it's a pair of glasses, you're gonna see a lot of people start using it for that because it's going to be much more enjoyable to, even if you go to the real F1 race, to put on a pair of glasses to see the track and see your favorite drivers and see all the stats that the people who are running the cars have on their screens, right? They know how hot the tires are. You don't know that watching TV. Right. I want all of that in my glasses on screens around me or in 3D on the table in front of me. Right. We're still in early days of that. That's going to happen to a lot of things in society. You're going to see new kinds of plays, new kinds of entertainment products, new kinds of education products like this, new kinds of classrooms you can take a class in, and that's in 3D. We're still in early days. And
I'm glad
we
you're
haven't
saying that.
even, I don't have a virtual being in my house. That's not true. I have had a prototype in my house. An entrepreneur brought one over and showed it
What do
to
you
me.
mean? What do you mean a virtual prototype? Like
Something
through
that
your,
looks like you, that talks like you, that's sitting on the chair next to me
but
and
you got to
can
wear
play
the
games.
Vision Pro to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or look at your phone,
Right.
right?
Okay.
You can see it on your phone.
And they look
Augmented
kind of real,
reality
pretty
virtual
real.
being. Yeah, they're fucking insane what's about to
Well,
come.
okay. So I mean, okay. So
This is
this is
what's
not.
so hard to explain to people. What's about to come is fucking insane compared to what we have today. And
So
we
okay.
haven't even started that yet, right?
Where are we on that continuum of getting to the Her movie?
Pretty close.
So
Pretty
like if you're talking
close.
about that virtual character that
I
you
mean,
have
you have
there.
Chat GPT, you can do advanced voice on the Chat GPT and talk to it all day long, and it's pretty
Yeah, but it's like
close.
yeah, so you can talk,
It
but I
just
mean,
got memory last month, it starts remembering you. Hey, right?
it's nice to be able to see someone though, like and to again that trusting.
Well,
Almost.
her movie was a headphone in the head, right?
That's
He
true.
didn't see
Yep,
her, right?
that's
He
true.
was talking to her. Well, we are pretty close to that on Grok, on ChatGPT, on Google Gemini, on Perplexity, on Anthropic Cloud. We're pretty good. The programmers are calling it vibe coding. They're talking to their
Yep,
coding environment and writing apps this way with their voice, right?
absolutely. Okay,
But
so
we aren't yet into the virtual being thing. That's coming fast,
but
like in the
okay,
next
is that gonna
few
mess?
months.
Is that gonna mess with our minds a bit? Like
Oh
if you're in
yeah.
an environment like you call it the holodeck, right? Which is I think it's a pretty cool
Well,
frame for it.
let's go back and explain what the holodeck is.
I would
If
love
you
you
go
to.
to
Yes.
if you go to the Apple store and and you put one of these things on, right? When I'm
Yeah.
wearing this and I see my hand in front of it, it looks like my real hand.
Hmm.
You see the Apple store, you see your friends around you. It looks real. It's not real at all. It's
Hmm.
a holodeck. Everything you view in this is not real. It's a volumetric pixel that's been generated for you by the computer system, and you can change it. You turn the dial on the top of the headset, and it changes from the Apple Store to Yosemite National Park or the Taj Mahal
Hmm.
or wherever, whatever. You're in a holodeck. And so far, we haven't yet hooked up AIs to the holodeck to generate the environment around you or the virtual beings that are around you. Those are coming and
Hmm.
coming by the end of the year, right? And certainly by the end of next year, they're going to be incredible.
Hmm.
So now we can create new entertainment products that look like there's a human sitting on the chair next to you or walking around you that you're going to be able to interact with, talk with, high five even. Hey, high five, right? And capture with a virtual camera.
Hmm.
And you can maybe grab the virtual camera and put it in 3D space around you to capture you talking with your virtual being. Or the AI can move the camera and capture it for you automatically
So
and
so
edit the video story you're trying to tell with your virtual being.
I've got so many questions. I mean, there's a couple
Or
that
virtually
just
human or whatever you're going to call these things. I
yeah.
don't, we haven't figured out what we're going to call these things because some are going to look like a little dog, right? Some you might be
Mm.
talking to a fish floating in the air someday, and someday you might want to talk to something that looks like a female or a male, you know, or whatever,
Uh, uh,
robot.
Okay,
Have an
the first.
Optimus in your house that looks like an Optimus, but it's not really an Optimus. It's just a virtual being of some kind, right?
What's this gonna do to our minds, Robert? Like, uh, are we gonna change as a society? I mean, we've already changed. Like with social media. Social media. I was
Yeah.
just talking to a friend of mine. He's going through a divorce, etc. And he's talking about the dating scene and talking about how different that is now compared to 20 years ago. So I'm Generation X still. So I'm one of the lucky last ones to have lived before the iPhone. And
Yeah.
after my kids, they're all 100% into the technology thing, into AI, and social
My
media
kids learn to
massively
read and
changed.
write on an iPad, right, on
Right.
YouTube. It's
So
crazy.
so what's your thoughts on what this whole AI thing with the virtual worlds and the holodeck, what that's
How
going to do
far are
to our
we gonna
minds?
go?
Like,
Are we gonna
are we
talk
going to
about
be
a Neuralink?
yeah,
Are we
or
gonna talk about a
Neuralink
Neuralink world, a
um,
brain computer interface world? I mean,
or are we
I already have some brain computer interfaces in my house. This one fits on
okay?
the back of your head and senses where your visual processing is being done
Oh
and
my
sort of
gosh.
can tell what you're looking at with a device with a bunch of sensors on it, right?
And there's
Snapchat
no
bought this
implants?
company.
No implants on that. It just
This
goes
is
through your brain.
external. This sits on
Okay.
the outside of your head, so it's not real accurate. If you put the wire on the inside of your head, then you get full capabilities. But there's already 3 humans who have Neuralink on their brain today, right? And it's not
Hmm.
me and you, but there's people who just think and they compute,
Hmm.
right? They can move the cursor around the screen just by thinking. I saw at Stanford Robotics Day a couple weeks ago a guy wearing a hat, and he was cooking dinner just by thinking. That world is
it's
crazy
insane.
shit. And we haven't even figured out how to write to the human brain yet. These devices just read from the human brain, understand that you're thinking about, hey, I want to make some sushi, right? Cut it this way, and then just think about it.
Gosh,
Right?
I'm not sure how I feel about writing into the brain. Like I'm okay with my brain telling it what to do, but coming back in, that's
Could
like
change this Coke can to a Pepsi can, right?
yes, yeah, exactly.
Because that's what happens when you write into the brain. You can change how I perceive things. You can change my memories. It opens up a whole can of worms. So that's why I brought it up, because if you're really going to understand how human beings are going to change over the next 20, 30 years, you have to go there. And
Gosh,
we're going to be a very different species in 30 years than we are today.
what do you think about the physical world, given that we'll have this parallel universe running at the same time that would be potentially indistinguishable of the real world, but at the same time we've got the real world happening here with all the robotics and humanoids picking up. I mean, we've got the Ready Player One kind of world versus the Blade Runner kind of worlds. Are they going to be running separately? Are they going to converge? I mean, because there's something about still physical touch, right? So I'm not sure if they've got technology that plugs into your brain that makes you think you're touching something, but you're not actually touching it yet. What's your thoughts on that? Is there a
Well, I put on my Vision
imaging?
Pro because now I can still see you on my teleprompter in front of me. It still is real. My lights are up here. My iMac, I can see Trisha code on my iMac over here.
Okay.
But you're not real. Well, first of all, you weren't real anyways, because you're just numbers being displayed on a screen, right?
Yep.
But now I'm seeing digital on top of digital. So,
Right.
and maybe I grab you out of the physical monitor and make you a big monitor, right? So I can see you in much more resolution on a virtual monitor in front of my real teleprompter and my real iMac, right? I do that all day long. I work in this thing. I don't look at the physical screen anymore. I look at the virtual screen that's sitting in front of me, right?
So
And
it's
and that's
potentially going to
just the start.
change. So it sounds like it's going to change the fabric of consciousness if we keep going far enough. It's like,
Oh man, I've had hundreds of arguments with or discussions with Dylan Urquidi at Unity Labs because he's a brain-computer interface pioneer, and he loves asking people what is consciousness, and most people have no idea. In the digital world, consciousness is just a database.
have you watched the what's his name? Tom, is it Tom?
Running on a piece of melted sand. It's what we're about to get is crazy. It's crazy to think through, where you're running an AI model or a series of AI models on NVIDIA cards that are going to make a virtual being that's sitting on a chair next to you that is going to have their own life, their own experiences. They might come back. You might wake up one morning and talk to your virtual being, and in the middle of the night, it went to Coachella and it has a whole bunch of photos to show you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a weird world, And are
Okay.
human beings going to find that entertaining? I will.
Well, I think I will too.
The
But
Amish are going to go, hell no.
the what do you call it? The laggards or Luddites.
Yeah.
They're probably going to kick against it heaps until right at the end.
For a bit,
But I'm almost also sort of part of my brain is thinking for my children, how do I prepare them? Like my eldest is 14 and she loves video editing. So she's getting into the creative sort of stuff, and I'm also thinking, okay, how do I prepare her for the workforce one day? Like, especially from a video perspective, should I teach her how to do video editing now with CapCut, or do I go, no, learn AI? Become good at AI, figure out everything you can about AI, because that's going to be your world. You're going to be completely immersed in it as you grow up. So, but I mean, that's possibly a whole nother interview, that one.
for our kids coming, we need to talk about regulation, because when you get a neural link, when you get wires put on a human brain, your free will goes away, even from external. I was wearing 2 strips from a company in Boston that's coming out called Orbit. And they were stimulating my brain by shoving electricity into my brain, and they could make me lean left and lean right involuntarily. Right. So
Involuntary,
somebody
just
else is all of a sudden in control of me. I have no free will whether I'm leaning left or right. The computer is telling me to lean left or right.
what do you mean?
All of a
It's
sudden,
not even in your brain. It's outside,
no,
right? And it's
outside strips.
sending what
And it's
electromagnetic
just doing
waves.
that specific. Yeah, yeah. It put a wave through my body, right? It was really crazy.
So it
And it made me lean
what
left or
does it
right. So
activate a
think about,
certain? Does it activate a certain motor neuron or something in your
yeah,
brain
yeah,
that
yeah.
then
It's
forces, and you
changing
don't,
your vascular,
and
it's your vascular
there's no thoughts
stimulation.
for you doing it. It just happens automatically.
It happens automatically. I was wearing it, and all of a sudden I
Yeah,
was leaning left and leaning right, and
that'll be weird.
involuntarily, without, and you can fight it a little bit, and that's where your free will comes in. But
Oh my
as we
gosh.
head into a full read in write neural link, which is our kids' world, and maybe if we stay alive long enough, maybe even our world, but certainly our kids' world, it really changes what is free will. It changes who's in control of the human being, right? Because the company that makes the neural link, in this case Elon Musk, but there's others who are coming, so you might have a Google one or something on.
Mm.
It really changes your cognitive sovereignty. And it really gets to the heart of the question of what is a human being in that world, and we have to protect that with regulation. And so that's because once you put it on this device, you're in. You're not going to think about it, right? You're in, and it's going to rewrite your memories and change your perception of things, and in a good
Amazing world.
way and a potential bad way. So we need
Mm.
to really, in fact, you can have these arguments with any AI. It's insane. I've been talking with Grok and with the people like Dylan, who are pioneers. Grok and ChatGPT, they know about this world coming, and even lay out what kind of regulations we need to have, and what kind of businesses are going to come in the future, long-term future in this world.
Wow.
So yeah,
I'm kind
as
of like
parents, we should be having these discussions that this
yeah.
world is coming, and it brings a lot of new superhuman powers. Because if you had a neural link on and I had a neural link on, we're not talking with our mouth anymore, which is a slow way to communicate back and forth. We're thinking thoughts back and forth, right? And we have an AI that's assisting us that we can also think to, hey, AI, help us out here. Help us design a new 3D building together. Boom, 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 boom. We're just going to town real fast. Gives us
Man.
superpowers.
Well, I'd appreciate that with having being able to communicate like that with some people, like my development team, for example. Just being able to download
You
my
want to be hooked up to
thoughts.
smart people and work together, right?
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
your wife,
Yeah.
have a mind meld with your lover or your
correct. Yeah, just like,
spouse or
okay, now you can finally understand what I'm trying to say within seconds, as opposed to hours or years. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Robert, we've probably
But it
got to
does bring
start.
new problems, and we, as a society, we
Mhm.
do need to think through the regulations. The AIs can help us understand this world if you care about it, and can help us think through the regulations and the problems and how we're going to not have these problems as a society, because it does bring up some major new problems and some major new capabilities too. I'm signing up. I'm getting one, even though I know all the problems it could bring.
Again, I'll watch you first because you're a bit ahead of me on the
Yeah,
curve.
yeah. That's my role in life. I was the first one to
No,
buy an iPhone at Steve Jobs' store. I took shit from a lot of my friends. Oh, I need a phone with a keyboard. Yeah. Oh no, you don't. And now they all have phones without keyboards. It's fine.
no, I'll first make sure you survive it, and then if it's all good, I'll consider it. So Yeah.
Well, we already know most of the problems that are coming, which is this new cognitive sovereignty. Your ability to have free will is going to go away, in theory. Yeah, and we have to have some regulations about that. If you're going to write some thought to like if you're going to change this Coca-Cola can to a SpongeBob or to a Pepsi can, you got to tell me you're doing that before you do it, right? Or at least as you're doing it, I have to be able to look at a log of everything you changed about my world and be able to know, okay, I didn't like you changing that Coke can to Pepsi can, right? And that's just the beginning of it, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So new world.
Total new world. We've got to wrap
new
things
world
up.
Of video, because if you had a Neuralink on, you can watch a lot of video.
Instant downloads.
And you could fire up a bunch of AI agents to go watch all the video on YouTube, which you as a human being cannot do. Even if you wanted to. There's too much. There's way more video than you can ever watch in a lifetime, right? So your AI agents can go watch all that video and then bring a couple back to you and go, hey, we found some good shit for you.
Oh, the new drug, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one more thing I want to ask you before we wrap things up, Robert, and that is bringing things back to X, because I was one of the early users of Twitter way back. I was one of the early signups, but I didn't actually use it. I was just sort of signed up and sort of checked it on the sidelines. You've been a very active user all this time,
18,
and more recently,
18 years.
18 years, yeah, right. And that's how long I've been in business for. So it's around about the same time. But more recently with Elon, buying Twitter and turning it into X, it's just become a lot more interesting, exciting, and a much more rich experience. Bringing this conversation back to X and video on X, what do you see is the future? Is there a future for creators, for businesses, for brands? Is this a place where they should invest their time when it comes to video, or should we just stick to writing little text updates for now?
He's about to turn on an autonomous car network. And when you're in an autonomous car and you don't need to drive anymore, what are you going to do? You're going to stare at that big screen and watch more video. So he's going to have a lot of people who are hungry for content in their car. And what is he hooking up? I mean, just hours ago, he changed the main news feed from being run by an old technology to being run by Grok, or a AI from XAI Corporation, which X and XAI are the same thing now. So he's starting to use AI to decide on the content we're seeing on our feed, but soon it's going to decide the content that we see in the car. And we're going to be talking to a Grok in the car soon. Hey, Grok, got any funny videos for us? Right? And then all of a sudden it'll put videos there. So there's going to be more demand for video in tomorrow's world, because we're heading into a world of autonomous cars and glasses that have video screens in them. So more people are going to be able to watch video all day long, live streaming even.
I was just going to say, are you saying that my dream of having a popular video podcast might finally become
might pay off? Might pay off. So might have a few Coke logos in it, and a little sponsorship here and there. Make some money off your live streaming thing.
I'm a bit like you in that sense, that I'm sometimes I'm sometimes a bit too early for the trends coming. So I had a video podcast back in, I think it's 2011, and it was actually I published on Apple Podcasts. It just when it became available, I thought, okay, let's do this. But I didn't pursue that because it was like no one was watching video podcasts back then. But now with YouTube, with the YouTube podcast thing, the video podcast thing, with Spotify with video podcasts, X this whole thing is being streamed on X right now. And whenever I do a video podcast, I post it to X as well. So this whole thing with the cars not needing drivers anymore, and people are going to be just sitting there, not twiddling their thumbs. They're going to be watching, possibly video podcasts,
playing games, watching videos.
Yeah.
talking to their virtual being that's on the screen, having a little friendship with a virtual being.
Okay.
That sounds weird, but we're already using ChatGPT to talk to it about all sorts of things. I'm having problems with my wife today. I did this, she did this. What do you think? How can I fix myself? And it
Yeah.
tells you, right? And you're going to be doing that in the car. I
Yeah.
I use ChatGPT already have an autonomous car. It drove me to San Francisco to an AI poker game, and it taught me how to play poker on the way to the game. And hey, Grok, teach me how to play poker. Right?
And then with the neural network stuff, or what do you call the implants, we'd be able to be like the Matrix, where you just download the how to play a poker game into your brain on your way there.
Hey, watch me play the poker game. Oh, you're making a stupid move, or this guy's lying to you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. You can
Go
actually
all in. Your AI in your head will be like, "Go all in." Odds are you're gonna win.
Love it. What an exciting future. We're
Well,
about
it
on
is.
the hour, Robert, and I just want to be respectful of your time. Two things.
Yeah.
What would be a final thought that you would leave our viewers with, and then also the best place that people can find you and connect with you?
I'm on X at x.com/Scobleizer. Storytellers and entrepreneurs are still going to matter a lot, even if a robot takes your job, and even if AI is doing all your video editing. Having the understanding of how to tell stories with these new tools is still going to be a in-demand thing. So at least for a few years until they figure it all out. There's still a lot of innovation happening every day, and so a smart person who is creative or curious and can use these tools. I have 800 companies on my AI holodeck list on X.com. Somebody's going to go through those 800 companies and put together something new, like Trisha did. And there'll be a lot more in the future.
Can't wait. I'm both excited and a little bit scared at the
Terrified.
same time. And, and I'm hoping more excited than terrified, but loving what's been happening. And thank you for being at the forefront of it all. And sort of, oftentimes there's new stuff that I never would have known about unless I saw you talking about it or you covering it.
Yeah.
So
Thank
cheers
you.
for that, Robert. And
I'm trying to
thank
figure
you.
it all out myself. That's why I built all these lists. I have 6,200 AI companies in lists on X. Anybody can look at them. And I'm trying to figure it out too, because this world is moving fast.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody watching or listening, please go on to X, or formerly known as Twitter, but X, we all call it X now, x.com. Search for Scobleizer or Robert Scoble, and you'll find his feed. Definitely worthwhile if you haven't come across Robert. Amazing stuff. Thank you so much, Robert. Really appreciate it. And I'll be following your progress and over the next, 3, 10, however many years. Who knows how long we're going to live with longevity.
If I don't get hit by a bus tonight, I hope to be here, because this is an exciting time to be alive. It's
awesome.
More change is going to come for human beings in the next couple to 10 years than we've ever seen before. Right.
Awesome. Well, I'm here for the ride. Thank you so much.
Thanks.